What is happening? It's another NPC. Wait, what was it? Players Pulse? That's right. Players Pulse is back, you guys. It is back. We're doing this live, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. You got to figure out the other time zones. That's on you. And jump on in. Today's topic, going to be a fun one. What is your most anticipated Switch 2 game? You're going to have to let me know in the chat. And we're going to hit the intro while people are rolling in. Here we go. So Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm jumping on here. If you guys want to come hang out, I want to make a little announcement. I'm going to be on the Nintendo Topic podcast every Friday, 8:30 Eastern. Okay. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific over on Mike Odyssey's YouTube channel. I am working with him to get the show on to audio players. So like Spotify, Apple, that kind of stuff. So that will be happening. That will be happening sooner than later. But right now it's just on his YouTube channel. I also multi-stream it, so you can watch it here. But go and make sure, if you're not subbed to Mike Odyssey, make sure you do that. He's super, super good dude. Following the podcast, we're gonna do a little Mario Kart party after the podcast. So if you want to get some racing in, we're gonna be starting around. I posted it for 11 Eastern. I'm just guessing that's gonna be approximately or 10:30, because sometimes we go long. Sometimes the show goes like 3 hours long. So it can be it can be a late night. It really can. But yeah. So if you guys want to hang out with a great crew, a great chat, like his community is absolutely amazing. Jump in every Friday. There's a team of 4 of us, and we all do our best to try to make it when we can. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. You know, that's just, sometimes life happens, but great crew over there. And it's a lot of fun. So if I know it's available on the YouTube podcast player. So if you want to listen to it right there, you can do that now. I'm going to be working with Mike to get it on the other spots though. So, okay, we've already got some people rolling in. Remember, so our question is, what is your most anticipated Switch 2 game? If you're not in the live stream, please don't feel like you're not part of this. You totally are. Spotify, you guys have been coming in strong with so many comments over there. So keep them coming. Thank you so much for that. Let me know what your most anticipated Switch 2 title is. Now, these can be games that are already out, or games that like maybe it's a series you haven't seen in a while. Like I don't want to just limit it to one game. I know for some people it's going to be, very simple answers. For other people, it might be something a little more. So I'm going to jump into some of the chats here. Welcome everybody in. Gaming Since the 80s says most anticipated Switch 2 game as of now is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you guys are all doing well. Make sure to let me know. Ted Wagner says, I'm looking forward to DK Bonanza right now. Let's go. Gaming Lover 13 says, talking about the most anticipated games of Nintendo Switch 2. There are lots of possibilities for answers. Exactly. So we touched on Star Fox for a little bit yesterday. And I had kind of a fun conversation. It was just a short conversation on X or Twitter with Thunderstash Gaming. Because there's a rumor that Star Fox Zero was on the Wii U, is getting mouse controls and getting ported to Switch. Now, my initial response is that it is a crime that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess aren't getting put on the Switch 2 before Star Fox Zero, because Star Fox Zero wasn't that well received because there was just some. It was one of those games where they like kind of forced you to play with the tablet, and so it wasn't ideal. Wasn't ideal. So, maybe they give it a bit of an overhaul, and it becomes more playable. I mean, obviously they've seen the feedback. I'm sure of it. So hopefully it becomes more playable. That being said, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, I told him I want to see Star Fox revamped. Like, let's go first person or third person. Star Fox meets Battlefield, epic space battles. Let us customize our own like our own character within that universe. Have Star Fox be part of like the single player campaign. You play as Star Fox, but for the multiplayer, like let us customize our own characters. Let's, space. I don't know if you guys have played I said Battlefield, but like Battlefront. They got space battles where you can still hop out, run around on the ships, grab a ship, fly out if you want. You can fight on your feet in the hangars and whatnot. Like, it's super, super fun. Like, super fun. And I think it would be amazing to see Star Fox get this treatment. Gritty, more mature. It doesn't have to be M-rated, but just a more mature Star Fox, just really taking that IP to a whole nother level. And in my tweet, I was like, just bring it into a modern era. Bring Star Fox into the modern era, because it's just a rail shooter is very dated. If they're going to keep it in that format, it should go to an indie studio, I think. And somebody mentioned that yesterday too. Like, I think that's a great idea. If they're going to keep it as just a rail shooter, like give it to a solid indie. That being said, there's one other game that if Star Fox were to emulate, it would be amazing. And that is Crimson Skies. If you ever played Crimson Skies on Xbox, OG Xbox online, some of the most fun I've ever had gaming online was Crimson Skies. Super, super solid game. Like, very just arcade, like alternate universe, like probably 1950, like biplane-esque dogfights. So good. Just so good. So if they did that, again, let an indie take it, but just a real solid, less on rails and more just kind of like you could fly like the 3D environment, but you do some when you do a barrel roll, like in Crimson Skies, you would press up you would click the sticks, I think, and then press up on your left stick and down on your right stick, and it would cause you to do like a loop and come back, and you could like dodge, if you were kind of in trouble, you could like dodge missiles and that kind of stuff. So that would be fantastic to see Star Fox just taken to another level. Taking a look at chat here, Gaming Lover says, for me, I think the most anticipated games are Mario Kart, Kirby Star Riders, and being able to finally make predictions for Smash Brothers, the next generation. Let's go. So if you guys saw the thumbnail for this episode, you see that I have Animal Crossing. Shout out to Jenna. As soon as I posted this in the Discord, she was like, Animal Crossing, do I even need to say it? And that's highly anticipated for me. Now, well, I'll talk about it. The other game I have on here for Gaming Lover, Smash Bros. And then I also put Metroid Dread because I want to see sequels, right? We want to see sequels to these games. So Animal Crossing, one of the things I'm like wickedly anticipating is the original Animal Crossing on NSO. So many people are going to get to experience that game for the very first time. And it's fantastic. It's so good. It's where I fell in love with the series. I know it's going to be a bit tough for people to be like, where are the quality of life features? They're gone. Like, they're gone. So, keep that in mind. It's not as polished as New Leaf or as New Horizons, but still so good. And I think the community is going to like it. Honestly, I think it is a game that will scratch that itch while we wait for the next installment. That's my gut feeling. I think it'll scratch that itch. So that'll be great. Looking at another comment here, Gaming Since the 80s says, Josh, well, I don't understand if F-Zero 99 is very popular and there are a lot of users online, and yet there's no new F-Zero game. I hope it changes. Well, and Nintendo seems to be showing, like, they've been showing off like the F-Zero, what is it, GX or whatever, that's on NSO for Switch 2 for GameCube. Like, and they've added I want to say they added the music to the music app. Like, it doesn't feel like it's just a forgotten IP. I think it's one of those things that Mario Kart's out of the way, right? And they'll still drop Mario Kart DLC. I'm like positive. Like, I couldn't be more positive of anything that this game is going to get a continual drip feed of content. That being said, they can now, in a couple years, revisit another racing game. They can revisit F-Zero. They can revisit that series and like really take it to another level. Like, and can you imagine seeing it in, 4K 60, 1080, 120, like just screaming through those levels. But again, I think there's an element of refinement that needs to happen with some of these games. So like to really bring them into the modern era, like in some case, like look at what they've done with Mario Kart World. It's not just jump in, do your Grand Prix, like massive open world. I've even seen clips now where there's like, you can look in the binoculars and like scope out the world and see where you need to go and what you need to do, what items to try to find. They're really giving it that like that 3D treatment. And I love it because like you're going to get to experience elements of the track that typically you don't even pay attention to, which I think is great. I think is amazing. And so, when it comes to something like F-Zero, like maybe something that's a bit more narrative driven, I feel like there needs to be something there, not just jump into another race game. That being said, if they give it to an indie studio could do what they'd like and not have that pressure of having to make it like a AAA game and give us kind of that classic, maybe that kind of classic F-Zero style game that comes in at a relatively like lower price point. That would be okay too. But I'm all about seeing more F-Zero, no question there. See, Ronan says, not sure if it counts, but mine is the Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom for your second playthrough. That counts. That most definitely counts. Like, it is going to be like playing a new game, I think. From the few things that we've seen of, like, I've seen some over-the-shoulder shots of, like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I'm excited to jump back in, honestly. My main focus is going to be Mario Kart for quite some time, but, like, I am going to try and balance my gaming time a bit better, like, basically take on a bigger game and then take on a smaller game and then get Mario Kart. And I'll still play Smash on, I'm excited to play Smash on Switch 2 to see if it has any improvements whatsoever. Who knows? They did put out a list, you guys, of all the games that are getting the free updates. And they, Andre did a really cool, from Game Explain, did a really cool little like chart that shows what each game is getting. Is it a higher FPS? Is it a higher resolution? Is it like the share play feature, that kind of stuff? One of the, like, Odyssey is getting that share play feature so that you can share the game with someone else in the room, and then they can, you can do 2-player that way if you want. So that's pretty cool. So Ronan, I would say it absolutely counts. Costa says, I'd love that Ocarina of Time remake that's been being rumored, but day one, I'm strangely intrigued about the new Rune Factory game, and Yakuza 0 with extra content should be great. I love that. I mean, those are fantastic answers, and I would encourage you guys too. Like, if you're anticipating games that have been announced, share those. But if there's games that like, yo, we need a new X, Y, or Z, like I put Dread on there because I want a new 2D Metroid. I know we're getting Prime 4, and I'm super excited for it. Don't get me wrong, but like I fell in love with Dread. Like I've mentioned it recently. It's the only game I beat twice on my Switch. Like it's that good to me. Like I think it's amazing. And so I believe it's Mercury Steam that works on that. I could be mistaken. So don't roast me in the comments if I'm wrong, but like let's keep the Metroid games rolling. Let's keep them rolling because they are top notch in my opinion. Just so good. And speaking of Metroid, I still want to see remakes of 2 and 3. Like that HD remaster treatment that we saw for Prime, the first one, keep that coming. Keep that coming. Like I want to see them get that same treatment. And I don't know at this point, is it possible for that to happen before Prime 4? I would say yes. And I think it's going to boil down to this. The next Direct. The next Direct, Nintendo could say Prime 2 and 3 out now, digitally, physical coming soon. And you guys have probably heard, if you've been listening to these shows for a while, I had Thunderstash on not too long ago and he went hands-on with 4. He's like, I think they're waiting to put mouse controls into 2 and 3 because of how fluid and how well it worked. So if that's the case, it could be the reason they've put them off. But that's it. Like, I have not beat 2 and 3, so I'm like selfishly really want to be able to play those 2 games all the way through. I've made it a pretty far into Prime 2, and I didn't touch 3 because of the Wii remote and having to play the controls that way. It wasn't for me. So Game Since the 80s says, I don't know if I will play online with Switch 2. The reason is the new user agreement. I tend to swear a lot sometimes. I don't know if I want to risk my console getting bricked. I mean, it would only be something you have to worry about if you have voice chat on. So as long as you're not in any kind of voice chat, and it seemed like, I'm not sure. There has been some news out there. I don't know just off the top of my head, but I don't know how possible it is for you to play with randos. You know? And my suggestion is if you're playing with friends and you're worried about that kind of thing, just jump in a Discord call. There are plenty of headphones out there that will, like, if you're more of a living room gamer, that will connect to your phone and to your Switch 2 at the same time. And you could go onto Discord and be able to chat that way. So you don't have to worry about that. That way you don't miss out on the fun of online. Cause I'm telling you guys, Mario Kart World online is going to be a blast. I can't wait. I cannot wait. You know, and Mario Kart World has, like, the next Mario Kart game has been my most anticipated game forever. I don't even know that I really even need to say anything, but like, I can't wait for this game. I can't wait to really dive into this. All of the different like tips and tricks videos that I've got rolling around in my head already. Like, I can't wait. It is going to be, it's really going to be something else. And I'm so excited. The next 3D Mario, you guys, the next 2D Mario, both games that, like, I can't wait. I cannot wait to be able to jump in and, you know, when they like to see what they're going to be able to do. Like Mario Kart World is already showing us so much as far as, like, you know, look at the lighting, look at the animations on the characters, like the squishiness of the carts. I love all of it. The different facial expressions, like Yoshi right there. He got on the gas and was like furrowed his brow, you know, like I love that. The cow always makes me laugh. You know, the way they've got all the characters dancing and the different costume designs, like there's so much about this that I love that I can't wait to see what they're going to do. And they've already teased us, right? They've teased us because they showed how amazing Donkey Kong Bonanza looks. Donkey Kong Bonanza looks solid. So good. Ronan asks, are you planning a launch day unboxing playthrough? I don't know if I'm going to have my Switch 2 on launch day. I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I don't know when it's going to be available, if I'll be able to pick it up in store. It was, we chose shipping, so I may not get it until the 6th or 7th. So that being said, I have been hearing, like, GameStop tweeted out they're going to have extra consoles in store at the midnight release, and Best Buy is as well. So I may go and hit up one of those for a midnight release. And if that ends up being the case, then yeah, absolutely. I'll be, I don't know about like an unboxing, but I'll definitely be streaming Mario Kart World that day and racing with as many of you guys as possible. So I'm really, really excited for that launch. Costa says, goodness me, Nintendo has a treasure load of games that need a comeback. New Star Fox, not remake, Golden Sun, Kid Icarus, Earthbound, Illusions of Gaia, and then Super Mario RPG 2. Yeah. And I am one of those people that believes that Nintendo will do a Mario RPG 2. I think it'll happen. I think the relationship with Square and Nintendo is so solid and so strong. They have all of the assets from that game that came out a couple years ago from RPG 1. I don't know why they wouldn't do RPG 2. I really think it will happen. I really, really do. Cryptic says, really anticipating Metroid Prime 4. Excited for Mario Kart, but I also want that first-party single-player adventure game when I do not feel like sweating online. I wish MP4 was switched with Donkey Kong. Well, I don't know if you were here when I mentioned it, but like, what if during the next Nintendo Direct they announce Prime 2 and 3 and say out now and give us a little bit more to chew on before 4? I would be stoked personally. Maybe Net said, is the title for the next Mario movie confirmed to be Super Mario World, or is it just a rumored plot? There was a post made by like Universal or somebody, I don't know. They're like talking about the movies they had in their lineup, and they specifically named Super Mario World, and then it was pulled out. They made the correction. So from an official source, you know, they were talking about all the different movies that were coming out under their umbrella. They mentioned Super Mario World. So I would say it's potentially true right now that is the title. So Costa says, have to be honest, one of the most hyped things for launch is playing GameCube NSO with that GameCube controller. Going to need a 48-hour day. Yo, let's go. And those controllers are sold out. I unfortunately wasn't able to by the time they were available, I think, to everybody, they were already sold out. So I was really, really sad to see that, because I don't want to have to wait. But and I mean, the reality is I play Mario Kart with my GameCube controller now. I play Smash with my GameCube controller. So not a big deal that I'm not going to have the wireless one. The only thing that's annoying about playing with the GameCube controller like I do is no home button. And like, I was in NSO the other day playing Mario 3 on the GBA. Started the game, like I turned on the Switch, hit the buttons on my GameCube controller. I could not connect. I had to turn off the Switch, turn it back on with my Pro controller, and then it would allow me to go to the home screen. I was like, this is crazy. I probably could have taken it out and put Joy-Cons on as well, but I was like, oh, come on. Cryptic says, yeah, I would take anything Metroid. I would take anything Metroid, and Prime 1 Remastered was so good. And it's not on the initial list, but is Prime 1 Remastered going to get any Switch 2 love? Like even a free update of some kind, just to have it run a little smoother, a little higher resolution. Very curious on that. Gaming Since the 80s says, this may be a little bit off topic, but I like that Nintendo shows more love to Pauline. First Super Mario Odyssey, now Mario Kart World. Maybe she will get a solo game like Peach. That would be great. I would love a team up game with all the ladies from the Mario universe. Like to see, Peach, Daisy, Toadette, Rosalina, Pauline all have some kind of an adventure together. I think it'd be really, really fun. Ronan says, I skipped GameCube and went from N64 to Switch. What am I missing with the GameCube controller? Ooh, great question. Great question. So GameCube controller is one of my favorite controllers. From the moment I saw it, from the moment I used one, I love the giant A button. The giant A button, the placement of that, it's, if you don't want to get confused going between like PlayStation and Switch or Xbox and Switch, use a GameCube controller because it's a completely different layout. Like I've always really liked that. The analog triggers were fantastic. They worked really well in Mario Sunshine. It's always just felt really good in the hand. The D-pad was the only real complaint because it's basically a Lucky Charm. Like it's really small. Outside of that, it is. I never really cared for the fact that the C-stick didn't have a grip, but it doesn't really seem to affect things all that much. I use mine all the time for Smash. So, in my opinion, it is a top tier controller. I love it for Smash. In Mario Kart, it does give you a bit of an advantage if you use like vector gliding and that kind of stuff in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because you can hit your double input instead of having to do the motion like on a Pro controller. You can turn motion controls on. It doesn't show up, but your D-pad becomes your second input. So it allows you a little bit better control for like vector gliding and that kind of stuff. Cryptic said mouse mode in Prime 1. There you go. That might be the thing. Would also solve the issue with Prime 3. I mean, the way I look at it is Prime 1, 2, and 3 are on Wii, and they moved. They moved. I don't know if they necessarily moved one back from Wii, but I do kind of wonder if it was the Wii version and not the GameCube version, because I would assume that version has widescreen, so it may be less work for them. And I want to say that I think there are at least certain motion control aspects to Prime 1. I know, like, I'm assuming like the Splatoon style motion. I don't know about the split Joy-Con, that kind of thing. I'd have to fire it up and try. So Casa says to Ronan, the GameCube controller has one of the best feelings on your hands. Yes, it's ergonomically top notch right there. Agreed. Maybe Ned says the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series completely dead. I'm assuming yes. But I don't know. I don't know if the last one sold well enough for them to keep going. I don't know that they would have to. I don't know, what kind of numbers they would need for it to keep going. It's always seemed a bit niche. So I would say like there's a chance, but I'd have to look into like the news on that and see if there's been any official word, because I just don't know off the top of my head. So Kai says Mario Kart World should be awesome. Yes. Yeah, I'm super, super excited. So excited. And so like just to kind of keep things back on topic, the most anticipated games. Guys, we've already talked Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, of course for me. I can't wait to see where they take Zelda. I hope it gets. I hope that Tears of the Kingdom was a sign of things to come with how gritty and like dark they can take that series. I'm like, I want to see how far they can push those limits, right? I want to see just an incredible story and really just see them push the limits of what a Zelda game could be. And there's so much for them to pull from. I kind of hope the game looks like that. What was that tech demo? You guys in chat might remember that they showed like back in the early days of, I think it was early days of GameCube, where it was like Space World or something like that. The tech demo, like, not that I don't like the kind of cell shaded look of Tears of the Kingdom, but I would be excited to have it look more like, you know, the Oblivion remake that they've just done, or like an Elder Scrolls kind of a bit more realism maybe, and a little less cartoony. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I hope the same for Luigi's Mansion 4. I hope that game can mature like it has been doing. You know, I don't want it to get super dark and super scary, because that's, you know, it's obviously a game made for kids, but like, what, with the power of the Switch 2, what is Luigi's Mansion 4 going to look like? Like, I'm so stoked for it. So stoked for it. Let's see. I want to make sure I get everybody here. Costa says Eternal Darkness complete remake would be so good. Yes. I would finally get to play that game. I've heard so much about it, and I remember when it launched and everything, but never got a chance to play it. Ronan says, Costa, I pre-ordered the Switch 2 Pro controller as expecting to play Switch 2 docked more than I did with my OLED, which I played mostly handheld. There you go, getting that new Pro controller. I'm excited to use that for the first time, that's for sure. It's past my bedtime says, I'm even open to another Echoes of Wisdom style game. Love the whole Zelda series. Oh, so I personally view the Zelda games like 2D and 3D, essentially, right? Like top down and 3D. So I am wholeheartedly expecting a new game in that style. Like wholeheartedly expecting a new game in the Echoes of Wisdom style. And I love it. I would love to see either a remake of A Link to the Past, or something brand new. And I mean, I wouldn't even mind a little bit of like online co-op. And, you know, I don't know that I would say like, don't make the full game like a co-op game, but do like a Bowser's Fury style like side game that is like Triforce Heroes or whatever, right? Where you get to play as Link or Zelda, and you get to go in with a friend and like just kind of do some maybe some cool side missions, or, you know, have its own little quest line. And what would be cool is if they tied it to whatever game you're playing, or like what the single player game on the same cart, right? To where it's like, if you beat that, you unlock something over here, something kind of cool like that. I think it would be great. Let's see. And Anthony Nelson, and have it look good. There we go. Cryptic says, also can't play Smash without a GameCube controller. Also, I like how we got Killer Instinct Gold over Smash 64 game. Yeah, the game is a classic though. Yes. Yeah. So was a little bit shocked by that. I was just talking with somebody recently about Killer Instinct Gold, and there was a handful of people, I think, that thought it was already on there. Just kind of felt like a no-brainer. Huge fan of the Killer Instinct series. This is actually on topic. I would love to see Killer Instinct that's on the Xbox One and the Series X and everything. See that full game get put on Switch 2. I would love it. Absolutely love it. And I think there's a chance. I think there is a chance for that game to get a little bit of second life over on the Switch. Cryptic says, that's why I like Twilight Princess so much. It was the Zelda game closest to the tech demo for Wii U. And that's how I like my Zelda games. Yeah, kind of dark and gritty. Like, you know, Ocarina, due to the limitations of the 64, you can tell what they were going for. Right. And I mean, that game was creepy. There were elements of that game that were creepy. And I think I haven't played much of Majora's Mask, but I think it had its creepy factor as well. So I'm completely on board with that. You know, and not that Tears of Breath weren't, you know, the Guardians were pretty they're terrifying. And the Gloom Hands, you know, don't want to mess with Gloom Hands. So I completely understand there. They're a little creepy. But a real gritty looking Zelda game, I'd be here for. Maybe Ned says, will the term Nintendo Switch be used for future consoles, e.g. Switch 3, Nintendo Switch 4? I think so. I think we're going to be seeing Switch for quite some time. That is, I think there are, it really depends what's going to happen over the next 10 years with gaming. right? And what kind of competition are they going to have? What's Xbox looking like in 10 years? What's PlayStation looking like in 10 years? Like, they're bringing handhelds out because they know how much people are liking them based on the Switch. But the factor with the Switch is the first party games. You know, these other companies look at Nintendo and they go, "Oh, they're doing it, we should do it." And it's like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. You don't have Mario, you don't have Zelda, you don't have Mario Kart. Not to say that it can't, but like, I would say the majority of those that are gaming on their Xbox or their PlayStation, they're gaming on those systems to see like maximum fidelity when it comes to their games. And that's the likelihood of that ever being the Nintendo Switch, pretty slim. Pretty slim. So Gaming Since the 80s says, Josh, if you've never played Eternal Darkness, you missed a great game. I know. But it used buy it used for the GameCube if you can. It's on my list. It is on my list for sure. And I mean, I loved Resident Evil, the first one, and Resident Evil 0. I played some as well. Like Resident Evil, the remake or the remaster, or whatever that they did on GameCube, that was like, if you were console worn at all, you were like, what, you know, PlayStation 2 and Xbox, you don't got anything that looks as good as Resident Evil on the GameCube. Like that game was top notch. Let's see. Black Rhino says, guys, this weight is killing me. Yo, I'm with you. Ronan says Star Wars Outlaws releases on your birthday. So excited for that. Looks great. Let's go. I think they just had DLC come out as well. Cryptic says, and I'm anticipating a Banjo-Kazooie revive. Yes. I feel Switch 2 coming out and Xbox leaning into third party more than ever is a good sign for a partnership. Let's go. Let's do it. And I mean, honestly, DK Bonanza giving me a lot of Banjo-Kazooie vibes, which I think is great. Lastly, we got Costa says Xbox 360 was their peak. Ever since they've had multi-platform, they ensured that I will never buy an Xbox again. I've always been an Xbox fan, mainly for the shooters, right? Halo, Gears of War. It's not going to be too much longer, and Halo's going to end up coming out on PS5. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all. We know Gears is coming. I think Gears is going to end up on Switch, and that's going to be so fun. So fun. If you guys have never played a Gears of War game, if it ends up coming out on Switch, and that's your main system or your only system, make sure to pick it up. It is peak gaming. Like, multiplayer is amazing. So good. Very, very, speaking of gritty games, like it is gritty. And if you want a little history lesson, look up the Gears of War Mad World trailer. So good. It's that song from Donnie Darko, and it's good. It was top tier marketing. No question there. So, well, that is going to do it, you guys, for this episode of Players Pulse. Thank you so much for showing up. And this Players Pulse doesn't work without you. I just have to speak into the void, and you guys showed up big time today. So thank you so much for that. 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. I'm sticking with this time for the time being. It may be modified slightly, just depending on what happens in the near future here. But as of right now, 6 p.m. right here on my YouTube channel. Tonight at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, I'm going to be on Mike Odyssey's. I am a official co-host to the Nintendo Topic podcast, happening every Friday live over on Mike Odyssey's channel. So if you guys want to be a part, it's an incredible community over there. And like I said before, like early on in the show, after that podcast is over, we're going to be doing Mario Kart over here on my channel. So if you want to get some races in, and I have a feeling we're going to announce it on that show, we could kind of have a packed house. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.